Hi, welcome back. It's Jennifer, and I want to talk about something today that's near and dear to my heart as of late, and that is overthinking. So, you know the feeling when you send a text and then you spend the next 3 hours analyzing every word you wrote, or when someone says, we need to talk, and your brain immediately creates 47 different scenarios, like disaster scenarios. You're overthinking, right? And if you have ADHD, your brain is basically an overthinking machine. And so today I wanted to dive into why overthinking is literally stealing your entire life away from you. It's stealing your joy, your peace. And I want to try to give you some tools that have worked for me as of late to break the cycle of this. This is what overthinking actually does to you. So it paralyzes your decisions. I have I'm just being transparent right now. I have not been near as productive as I could have been over the last couple months because of a situation I've been ruminating on. And with overthinking, it paralyzes you to make your decision making process. If you want to order food, but then like as an example of this, you spend 45 minutes comparing menus and reading reviews. I'm guilty of this myself. Calculating optimal value, and then you're so exhausted you just don't even eat. It destroys your relationships. So someone doesn't text back for 2 hours and you've already decided they absolutely freaking hate you and we are a terrible person. You need to probably move to another country and just start over again. And I'm guilty of this myself. I definitely, I have a love-hate relationship with text messaging because I feel like, my husband even talks about how you can't really get the full understanding of what someone's trying to say in a text message. And so how many how many brawls have started over text messaging? If you want to think about it, it's crazy. I'm saying brawls, that's the, or just how many misunderstandings have probably happened over text messaging over the years, right? um and then this causes you to become needy, and that's, neediness is not, we want to be in control of ourselves, and we also want to be emotionally regulated, and neediness takes us out of that, of a sound mind, and that's not a state we want to be in, right? So it kills your sleep also. So it's 2 a.m., you're lying there, replaying the conversation you had from 2014 where you said something slightly awkward, and then your brain's like, hey, let's remember that cringy moment, let's analyze it until 5 a.m., and you just can't sleep at all, right? Hold on, I'm going to check my yes, just to make sure my microphone is still working. Likes to die in the middle of my videos. So it steals your present moment. You're at a party, you're not really there though, right? You're not engaging, or you're with your children. As of late, my daughter was trying to have a conversation with me and I was just checked out because I was obsessing over, you know, overthinking this situation in my head over and over and over again. Um, Worrying about how you look, whether people think you're weird. And here's the thing with ADHD, our brains are already working overtime, okay? So we're already dealing with executive dysfunction, emotional dysregulation, and working memory that's like a browser with 500 tabs open. So overthinking is just another tab that never closes and it's draining us constantly. So the worst part is overthinking masquerades as productivity, right? But it feels like you're solving a problem, but you're actually just spinning your wheels, creating anxiety out of thin air. And mine reached a head the other day where I had to actually stop and journal, cry, and I spent like a good couple hours just letting it all out, and then doing the healing code and EFT tapping. And so I wanted to, if you have a very, very like, if you're not like, if you have a very specific situation like I do where you're over ruminating and it's causing you just great distress, I would recommend those three things: journaling, EFT, and the healing code. And I have another video in my arsenal that teaches you how to do a healing code. I'll try to link that. Okay. So anyway, uh, why do we fall into this trap so easily? First, rejection sensitive dysphoria. Okay, so many ADHD people have experienced a lifetime of criticism, misunderstandings. We've been the nerds because we've been overactive, and we feel like we're too much or we're not enough. So our brains become hypervigilant, constantly scanning for signs of rejection and judgment. This has been my life for sure. Second, our brains crave stimulation. When there's nothing urgent happening, our minds create drama, and then overthinking provides that mental stimulation that we're seeking. Okay, third, poor working memory combined with hyperactivity. So we forget the actual facts of a situation, but our brain keeps spinning, filling in the gaps with like worst case scenarios. And then fourth, time blindness and pattern recognition has gone wild. So we struggle to differentiate between past, present, and future. So basically, a bad experience from years ago feels like it's a real life threatening situation that's happening right this second. So understanding this isn't about making excuses for the behavior. It's about knowing your enemy so you can fight it effectively. So I want to talk about the actual framework now. And I call these the 5 R's to stop overthinking. And the framework I use is number 1, recognize. Okay, so you want to catch yourself in the act. Number 2 is redirect. So you're going to physically interrupt this pattern. And then number 3 is the reality check. You're going to separate the facts from the fiction, okay? The facts from the stories. And number 4, you're going to release and let go of what you can't control. This is probably the most important step is number 4. Replace. Number 5, give your brain something better to do. And let's break it down. So you can't stop something you don't notice, right? So your first step is becoming aware of that you've fallen into overthinking mode. And the thought loop, like a thought loop detector, I guess I would call it. So you want to ask yourself like 3 questions. So have I been thinking about the same thing for more than 15 minutes? Definitely, that was me. Am I thinking in circles without reaching any conclusions? And is my thinking actually making me worse or better? Probably worse if it's overthinking. So if you answered yes to the 2 or more of those, then you're definitely overthinking. And so you want to do a mental check-in, okay? Use your phone to set 3 or 4 random alarms throughout the day labeled "What are you thinking about?" to create awareness without you having to remember to check in on yourself. Pro tip, write down your overthinking triggers. And it's important to do this, I feel like, on you can do it on your notes, but I would really start a journal. I journal on my computer on like Word, but I'm just saying, when you, like, for example, you're gonna write down, is it after social situations, when you're waiting for responses, late at night? Know your patterns. Know your patterns of when the overthinking starts. For me, the overthinking was starting with certain text messages, like, and not really knowing what somebody was trying to say or really meaning on certain things, and also not getting responses, right away. And so knowing your patterns regarding the situation is going to help you. It's going to make like the recognition of it automatic. Okay, sorry. Anyway, the step 2 is redirect. So once you catch yourself overthinking, you need to physically interrupt the pattern. Trying to think your way out of overthinking is like literally trying to dig yourself out of a hole. Sorry, just making sure this is still on. Okay. So the tool that I talked about earlier, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, is a grounding technique. So this is perfect for ADHD. It's engaging. It's specific. Name 5 things you can see. Name 4 things you can touch. Name 3 things you can hear. And name 2 things you can smell and 1 thing you can taste, okay? The body break. So you want to do like 10 jumping jacks or 5 push-ups or shake your body for 30 seconds. Physical movement is going to shake you out of this overthinking. It helps interrupt the rumination and gives your brain a break of the overstimulation. So, and it also gives stimulation in a healthy way. Okay. So the pattern interrupt. So wear a rubber band, or you can even like flick your own wrist or whatever, if you catch yourself overthinking. And you can also, I mean, if you want to go to extremes, you could like throw cold water on your face or something, or hold an ice cube. Changing your location is also helpful. The key is external stimulation to override internal chaos. All right. So number 3 is reality check. So now that we separate the fact from the stories our anxious brain is telling us, You want to look at the evidence. So imagine you're a detective, not the defendant. You want to write down the actual facts, the story I'm telling. So what actually objectively happened, right? Oh, they didn't text back. Okay. So what does that mean? What am I making it mean? They hate me. Uh, the evidence for my story, none actually. There's none. Alternative explanation. They're busy. Their phone died. They forgot. They'll reply later. Okay. The 10-10-10 rule. So will this matter in 10 minutes, 10 years, 10 months? Um, we live in the right now, and if it's not right now in front of us, then it doesn't exist. And uh, we live in these extreme mindsets on things, like because of the ADHD. So the worst case, best case, and most likely scenario, we want to write all three down. So you want to see that worst case is actually catastrophic and very unlikely. Best case might be unrealistic, and the most likely is usually pretty manageable. So the ADHD twist to this is writing them down. You don't want to just think them. You want to get them out onto paper. Our working memory needs external support, okay? So using your phone notes, you can to write this stuff down if it feels too much like friction. I like to still transfer it to an actual piece of paper, or also or put it in my Word doc, okay? Step 4 is release. This is about accepting what you can't control. This is, in my opinion, like I said, the most important. You want to draw 2 circles, okay? The inner circle, write what you can control. So your actions, your responses, your attitude towards it, your own efforts that you've put forth. In the outer circle, you need to write what you can't control. So other people's opinions, outcomes, the past, the future. You can't control, control is an illusion, honestly. You can really only control your own attitude and the way you look at things, to be honest. And then your efforts that you put in, but that can't control the other person or the other situation. Okay. So every time you catch yourself overthinking, ask, what circle is this in? All right. And the worry window. So schedule 15 minutes a day as your designated worry time. Yeah. Schedule your worry time and worry your ass off. And then stop when that timer goes off. Okay. If you're starting to worry or ruminate at a different time, you're like, oh, I have, that's not my scheduled time to ruminate about this. I'll tell you, this is different, but when I was doing extreme fasting back in the day, I literally, fasting cured me of my overeating addiction that I'd had pretty much my entire life. And because I basically, when I fasted, I would just put in my head, it would be in my mind, this is not the time to eat. Like that's out of the question. So you can do anything else except overeat or eat at all. And when it wasn't even an option to me, it's like I didn't think about it, but I knew that the time would come on my schedule where I was allowed to eat. So this is the same concept. You want to say to your brain, it's not the time for that right now. I need to do this and this and this. Okay, I will worry at 7 p.m. And what's interesting is when that 7 p.m. comes, the longer you do this, you often won't even remember that you were worried, okay? And it won't seem as urgent because you're just keep putting stuff off. And then there's another tool, it's called the verbal release. You say out loud, I'm having this thought of, insert the worry, that I'm going to fail my test or whatever. I notice I'm thinking this creates the distance between you and your thoughts. So you're not your actual thoughts. You're the person observing them. Okay. This is what people get confused. And I want to butt in real quick. Then we'll go to step 5. But these are 2 books that I've been reading right now. This one is Don't Believe Everything You Think, Why Your Thinking is the Beginning and End of Suffering. And it's by Joseph Newgan. It's great. I think I'm like halfway through. This one I'm just started on. It's called Live More, Think Less, and it's by Dr. Pia Callison. And it's talking about separating your thoughts from thinking itself, because thinking is the verb, thoughts are just the noun. And overthinking is what's causing all the problems and the fears and and later can cause scenarios because you live it out, right? Because of the thinking. So I highly recommend these two books. You don't have to buy them, obviously, but I'll put them down below. So anyway, going on, step 5, replace. So nature abhors a vacuum. Okay, your ADHD brain needs stimulation, so just give it something better than overthinking. The engagement task tool. So if if you want to have a go-to list of activities that fully engage your own brain, which puzzles, games, crossword puzzles, video games that actually require focus, building or creating something with your hands. You can learn something new like a YouTube tutorial, language app, take a course, okay? Talking to someone, call a friend, don't text. Texting, you just don't know how people, what they're really saying on text, in my opinion, okay? That's just my own humble opinion. Tool, the gratitude redirect. So for every overthinking thought, name 3 things you're grateful for right now. I've literally, this has been a game changer for me. You know, it literally rewires your brain's negativity bias. Okay. Gratefulness is just so important, period, every single morning. And then another tool is the action channel. So convert worry into action instead of overthinking. Again, I'm just going to check hold on. Yes, it's still on. Okay. Instead of overthinking, like, so what if they're mad at me? Hey, checking in, hope you're doing well. Turn passive rumination into problem solving. So don't let your brain control, because we can send those texts and it's like, that's it. I like to have conversations in person, even if it's FaceTime or something. I like to have a conversation in person if at all possible, or by phone, by talking. I know a lot of people don't like to talk nowadays, but I think it's just so important because you can hear the person's voice. You may not be able to see the person's mannerisms, but you just feel the body language through the phone some better than if you're just texting. Okay, your brain wants something to do, so you need to give it a job that serves you and not the other way around. And so maintenance strategies. You want to dump your brain daily. Every night, do a brain dump. Write everything in your head for 10 minutes. No filter, no organizations. This clears your mental RAM, okay? Journaling, that's part of that. Like, you can do a brain dump on paper, but also journal. If you're really upset, writing stuff out is so important, I think. I just didn't realize I was like not in the middle of the screen here. Okay. So move your body regularly. Exercise isn't just good for your body. This is essential for ADHD brains. It's going to regulate your emotions. It's going to reduce rumination. Every 10-minute walks help. I go on a walk. I try to walk every single day, no fail. And then I have bigger workouts like 3 days a week, but walking is so helpful. And excuse me. So number 3 is you're going to limit decision fatigue. Overthinking thrives on too many options. Okay. So simplify your life. Meal prep, capsule wardrobe, routines for morning and evening. The fewer decisions you have to make, the less fuel for overthinking. So you want to practice good enough. So perfectionism and overthinking are best friends. Adopt the mantra. Doing it is better than perfect, right? At least doing something is better than being perfect. B+ work finished, is better than A+ work that never even happened, right? So you want to get out of your own head. Use external systems, planners, apps, voice memos, notes. Your brain is for having ideas, but not storing them. That's the problem. So the more you externalize those ideas, the less you ruminate. And then therapy and medication. If overthinking is severely impacting your life, working with a therapist trained in ADHD can be very helpful, or like cognitive behavioral therapy. And it can be life-changing. Therapy has been life-changing for me. But if you're not already, if you need to take medication, there is a place for antidepressants and a place for, ADHD medication. Some people just can't, like me, can't really take it because, antidepressants for me personally cause me to become manic, and I can't sleep at all. So I take some supplements called, there's a supplement I call mood support, and then I take ashwagandha, and those do help me a lot. And I also take SAMe. So, you can just look into those things. There's like theanine is an amino acid that helps with brain regulation and calming and everything like that. But here's the truth: if you have ADHD, you're not going to be you're not going to be able to completely stop overthinking. It's just not going to happen because our brains are wired for this. But if you get a little better at catching it, interrupting it, redirecting it, your mental energy towards things that actually matter, your life's going to improve. And overthinking isn't protecting you. It's not even keeping you safe. Okay. It's not making you more prepared. It's actually stealing your peace, your presence, and your power. Okay. And again, I'm speaking to the choir here because I've been dealing with this specifically for the last couple of months regarding a certain situation. So you deserve to experience life, not just analyze it. You want to start with one tool from today. You just one, try it for a week, see what happens. And remember, progress over perfection. You're not trying to fix your brain, you're just learning to work with it. So I appreciate you guys watching. I will try to drop these books in here. And also, like I said, if you want something to help you reprogram your brain at a cellular level, I'm going to drop down my hypnosis downloads. Now, they are not just like any other hypnosis downloads. I only have 3 of them. They're very powerful. And you can get the bundle for like $37. They're yours forever. But they have neurolinguistic programming, cognitive behavioral therapy, subconscious reprogramming, and binaural beats. And I think they're like 14 minutes long a piece. They really will help you with reprogramming your brain safe and effectively with no medication. And yes, I appreciate you guys watching, and I will drop that in the links below. And have a wonderful day of not overthinking. Okay, bye bye.